Hello and welcome to our second modern match of the week that we will be posting on our YouTube page. You're already on the YouTube page, but you know what I mean. On the right, we have Jake Tarzia playing Temur Rhinos, aka Temur Crash-Cade, and on the left, we have Brendan Atkinson playing Mono Red Hollow One. This deck is really sweet. So, if you were watching the stream, we had Brendan on stream round one, and he did win the first round. Unfortunately, we were having internet issues, so we couldn't. It was pretty choppy. Which is unfortunately why that round will not be getting posted. But it is what it is. We're gonna get to see some cool stuff going off. So he's got a turn one, a Burning Inquiry. Both players draw 3 cards and then discard 3 cards at random. Brendan hits 2 copies of Blazing Root Walla, which is when they're discarded, they have the Madness keyword on them. So when they're discarded into exile, and then you may cast it for their Madness cost, which both of them having 0 as their Madness cost. Jake is playing a very traditional Team of Rhinos list. Nothing crazy special going on with it. It really is just your run-of-the-mill deck, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Brendan's going to tap 1 to play a Underworld Cookbook, or the Underworld Cookbook. Which, it's weird that it's not legendary, since it's titled The. I'm pretty sure it's The Underworld Cookbook. Because it's supposed to be Asmore's, her cookbook, but that's not the point. Oh, going to crack in, and then use the tap ability on the Root Walla to increase it by, I think it's plus 2-0, so he gets to hit for 4 instead of 3. Alright, Jake's going to put a Scalding Tarn into play. He's going to crack in and fetch. He just gets a basic here. He doesn't need to get a Shockland. Jake has some very nice basics. They are very pretty. And again, I think I was talking about it last week. I love when players can customize their decks with the basics. It's so sweet looking. Alright, we're going to Cascade here. And the only target in his deck is Crashing Footfalls. But yeah, the Madness deck is something that we see in Legacy every once in a while, especially now that Blazing Root Wall has come out. There isn't really a modern version of it, which is a shame because the deck is really cool. Self-discard and then playing cards like Hollow One is a really interesting mechanic, or interesting deck concept, that unfortunately I just don't think many people are exploring right now because, there's a Flameblade Adept. It is Menace and then gets, is it +1? I think it's +1 every time you discard a card. And so 1/2 naturally. Alright, opting to not attack into the Rhinos, that's understandable. Yo, Fury would be really good right now if Jake has one. You take 3 creatures out. That's pretty nice. It's a pretty good conversion rate. I mean, honestly, Jake's hand is perfectly fine for dealing with this board. He has 10 power on the board. He has the ability to make 10 more with the Shardless Agent. This is the thing about Rhinos, man. If you're able to get off, say 2 of them, with the first set of Rhinos sticking around, that's so much power. That's it's literally 20 power on the board. And for the combined total of 6 mana and 2 cards from your hand, it's pretty good. Now, Bluebell store manager Daniel McCulley might tell you otherwise. He might tell you that this deck is bad. I will disagree. Alright. He's going to go to combat. He's going to block a Rhino and then pump it. That way he can trade into a Rhino. And then Brendan, I think, took 6 in total for the Shardless and the Rhino. I fetched on the 13. Grabbing another basic from the deck. This is the thing about I love about Modern, man. You can have a strange deck or like an off the beaten path deck and do pretty well. Like at this point, Brendan's undefeated. He's 3-0. Or 2-0. This is round 3. But still, like, that's pretty good. Obviously, if he takes it to, like, if he were to go to, like, a GP level event, probably would have some struggles. But for a local, like, this is beautiful. That's why I love Modern. Alright, we discard a hollow one. This is the one card he doesn't want to discard. A Street Wraith and a Mountain. I can't imagine it's pleasant to discard a hollow one off of a Goblin Lore or a Burning Inquiry. Alright, playing a Mountain for turn. I don't know if there's anything he could do to stop this board. He can't. He definitely cannot race him. Alright, second copy of Flame Blooded up, attacking with the first one. It should be a 4-2 right now because of... Yeah, these discarded cards. It does have menace, so he has to double block if he wants to block it. I think he just takes the 4 damage, goes to 11. Okay. He chose to double block. He put the Rhino and the Shardless in front of it. And then Brendan's obviously taking the Rhino down with him. That's weird. I think I would have just taken the damage. Give it 4-8-12. 14-16 damage. Puts up the 1 after trample. If he had left the Rhino up. No, he would have... Yeah. Yeah, I think I would have left the Rhino. Alright, Violent Outburst. I'm going to get a Cascade going. And then all the creatures on the board will get +1/0, or +1/+0. So we're actually at 16 power as it is. Because the Rhinos are now going to hit for 5. The Shardless are going to each hit for 3. So 16 total. Alright, Brendan's going to scoop it up and go to game 2. Yeah. While Brendan's deck is really, really explosive and really powerful, I don't think he can race the Rhinos. But let's see how game 2 goes, which we are currently in. All right. Start with the Burning Inquiry. This is like the terrifying thing about playing against the Burning Inquiry deck is if you keep like any hand you keep, if they turn 1 Inquiry, they have the chance of just ripping any of the good stuff. Like I've played against I've played against people who've inquired me before, and I've had 3 lands, and then they just ripped every land from my hand. Or like I've got stuck on a 1-lander because of it, and it's so good. Speaking of hitting 3 lands, there's the Triome, the Unknown Is-It land, and then it looks like a fetch land. Which I think, if I remember correctly, because I was sitting next to Tarzia, and I looked at his hand before the inquiry happened, and he only had 3 lands in hand. Alright, Brendan's going to play a hollow one. Not a bad turn 1. Get some cards in the graveyard. Cycle through some stuff. Play a hollow one. Let's have a 0 mana 4/4. Reading the other line of text on hollow one. I think he's just cycling. Alright, tap, stomp, and grab, pass. playing I think his name's Insolent Neonate. It's the tap vampire. You sack it, discard a card, draw a card. Card that used to be played in Dredge. Before other better options came out. Fetching out a basic. Second Neonate, discarding a flame. I think it's Flame Wake Phoenix. The Phoenix that you could return from your graveyard that isn't Arclight, or the other like 3 Phoenix cards. I think it's Flame Wake. Alright, he's gonna return to the battlefield. I'm gonna attempt to attack for, I believe, 6. Yeah, it's a 2/2. It's pretty cool. With Flying Haste, must attack if able to, and then Ferocious, you can return from the graveyard. If you have a 4 or higher battle creature for 1 red, so he gets in for 4, plays a Root Walla. Jake shot the bird down, which isn't going to fix the issue. The bird's just going to keep coming back, but there's a Wooded Foothills, a very, very pretty Expedition Zendikar Rising Wooded Foothills. A Jake Bard for me. He has an Outburst in hand. He has a Prismari Command. He has a Shardless. He could just promote the Prismari Command, shoot the Root Walla, and then shatter the Hollowed one. I'd be about that. Sounds pretty good to me. Fetching down to 10. Because Brenna can't have that many cards in hand. The Phoenix can't come back if Ferocious isn't live. Okay, shocking now with the Steam Vents going to 8. I wonder which playline he's going to be going with. Because like, there's merits to both of them. Or to any of the 3. Alright, so passing. This means he's either doing the Outburst play or the Prismari. Probably the Prismari command. He keeps looking at that Prismari command. However, I think I would have done it during the upkeep. Actually, I would have end-stepped it. That way the Phoenix doesn't come out. That's just extra damage he didn't need to take. So now he's going to deal 2 to the Phoenix, I guess, and then shoot the Hollow one. Red is going to pump up the Root Walla to make it hit for 3 instead of 1. As we see some Riders slam down, I'm assuming. Yep, there's a Shardless Agent. He plays so few green cards that whenever he flips the Force of Vigor, he goes to grab it. That's funny. I mean, it makes sense when your deck's all multicolored and there's 1 green card in the main board. And that's the one you're looking for. It makes sense that you know, would instinctively believe the other green card would be that post-sideboard. Alright, there's 10 power. Brendan's now on a 2-turn clock. I'm going to cycle the Street Wraith down to 18. Cycle the Street Wraith down to 18, or down to 16. I meant to say cycle the Street Wraith again, but I combined that with the number in my head and just 18. Alright, Mountain for turn. Cool. I'm going to play a Ratchet Bomb. That's one way to deal with the Rhinos. Ratchet Bomb, if you don't know, is very similar to Engineered Explosives. It enters with 0 counters on it. You can tap it, blow it up, and blow up any permanents that have... Oh, it should kill the root wallet too, shouldn't it? Oh no, the root wall is a 1-drop. It's the madness cost at 0. And then you can add counters to the ratchet bomb. So it's a fairly good budget version of engineered explosives. It is probably better. Well, distinctly better because it comes in with counters on it. Alright, passing. Holding up the Violent Outburst for his opponent's turn. Makes sense. Or Violent Outburst or with the Prismari command. There goes the Flameblade Adept. Underworld Cookbook. Now, a cool card that Brennan plays in this deck is the red spell. I forget the name of it, but when you discard it, it does damage to your opponent. I think it bolts your opponent when it's discarded. So if he's got 2 of those, he can just kill Jake during his turn. Well, not during his turn, but do 3 to him during Jake's turn and then do 3 more during his turn. Be a pretty snazzy way to take game 2. End step Violent Outburst, playing Rhinos. Untap. Yep, there's an Endurance. Jake looks like it looks like Jake has 2 copies of Crushing Footfalls in his hand. So Prismari Command Shatter, deal 2 damage. So gonna tap, discard. Yeah, it's the card that when it's discarded does 3 damage. Flame Slash? That's not one of the... I'm not gonna pretend like I know the name of the card. I just know that when it's discarded, it does 3 damage to your opponent. Alright, cracks in for 8 here. 2-turn clock, baby. Let's see if Brendan can find a way to kill him. Lightning Bolt. Alright, tapping 2. Playing a Goblin Lore. Yo, if he hits the burn spell off the top here and Jake discards it, that would be beautiful. Alright, we're discarding 3 cards here. Middle 3. Neonate, Mountain, Burning Inquiry. We're left with a Blood Moon and an unknown card. Alright, and he's going to scoop it up. Alright, Jake's going to take that one 2-0. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a great rest of your day. Like, comment, and subscribe, and all that fun stuff if you'd like. Appreciate you.